Coming up on today's wrestling news, the alleged WWE AEW contract tampering names have been revealed. Is there problems for Adam Copeland in AEW already? I'm going to tell you the real reason Michael Cole missed Monday Night Raw's season premiere, and a former WWE champion shoots on a possible return. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news. Happy birthday to Andy Murray at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for happy birthday today. Go and send him all the well wishes in the world. So it's me and Hamflett on the news today. And some big news to start off with. Now, you may remember a few days ago, Tony Khan had a breakdown on social media, basically. But as part of that, there was some, factual stuff in there. Yeah. Him talking, obviously, about contract tampering with his AEW wrestlers, particularly whilst he was busy with his mom and her health problems. Thankfully, she got over that, but she was in the hospital. Yeah. And then he was getting wind of WWE attempting to tamper with people's contracts, allegedly, I should probably say. And on a recent episode of the Fightful Select podcast, the brilliant Sean Ross Sapp has spoken out about that and revealed the names that apparently WWE's tried to contact to tamper with the contracts. Easy for me to say.
Very good.
He says, I can tell you two situations that Khan took it personally, one of which was Swerve Strickland, who signed a multi-year deal on pay-per-view for a Hit Row reunion. He, I believe, referred WWE or WWE's talent relations persons to his lawyer. Then there was the other instance when Tony Khan's mother was in the hospital, and while his mother was in the hospital, it became abundantly clear that WWE had tampered and spoken to William Regal, and they'd offered him a new role that had already been prepared, and that's why he took it so personal for those. So yes, both ex-WWE talents that WWE were trying to tempt back. Swerve obviously going great guns in AEW right now. William Regal eventually did go back to WWE to go and work with his son, in his words. But this, if true, is not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously quite dicey ground for even us to talk on at this point, isn't it? We've got Sean Ross Sapp, like the esteemed wrestling journalist in our space, giving this information out, I suppose. But the story feels like it's going to run and run, especially now the names are out there. I find it interesting that we've got such different wrestlers and different reactions in the directions he went. Obviously, Swerve decided to stay put. Hit Row, I guess the reunion wasn't really for him. He saw singles glory in his future in AEW, and so far so good on that front. William Regal, on the other hand, was charmed into making his return, which at the time felt a bit weird in how it was factored into AEW storylines. It all felt a bit out of nowhere, and it left a number of different characters in limbo, and then we learned about the role that he was able to take up in WWE upon his return. So yeah, it's like William Regal's never going to be making a return to get in the ring.
No.
He was obviously always going to take this job. So I find it interesting that they had to, if this report is indeed correct, and we can't stress that enough, alleged, that a role had even been as good as created in order to kind of entice him back. That, again, I know nothing of the legal ramifications of contract tampering or whatever. There's probably other words that we could use to describe what's potentially gone on here. But that feels like something of a smoking gun, if there is one in this story. That's another... wrestlers are independent contractors, right? For better and worse, they are independent contractors. This seems altogether different and could have further ramifications if this story goes any further.
Yeah, we call it tapping up in football, don't we?
Yeah.
It's just not cool. Well,
it's not on. It's bad form. But then I don't know legally where anybody stands with this sort of thing. It's spooky. Yeah. I can say spooky, but that makes it feel like Halloween and Trivial. And there should be like Regal and Swerve should be like that Tom Hanks, David Pumpkins character. I'm William Regal. That is how it feels sometimes.
Right, let's talk about Adam Copeland. He's barely been in AEW. He's been in AEW for less than a month, I should say. Yeah. And there already is problems, apparently.
Well, it's a bit awkward, isn't it?
Yeah, he's had one match so far, but obviously he's been presented as a huge star, quite rightly, over there. And, he was cutting a promo, or there was like a promo train going on AEW Collision on Saturday night, involving himself, Bryan Danielson, FTR, Christian Cage, of course, and Ricky Starks. And, I suppose this is the double-edged sword of letting people say what they want and not scripting them. I mean, I'll take it, to be perfectly honest, in terms of, I'd rather that than people saying opportunity all the time, speaking in sentences that no one actually says in real life. But regardless, he's not happy. Neither's Ricky Starks, to be honest. They went back and forth on Collision, as I said. Edge making jibes about Ricky Starks' outfit. Ricky Starks talking about, when you were over there, so you brought some of that bloody patter over here.
Yeah.
And then
He started by saying, and you can stop looking at me with those bug eyes or something. That's kind of what kicked the whole thing off, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
It reminded me of David Brent in the Comic Relief episode of The Office, where the Og monster comes in and he has a go, I'm a big goggle-eyed freak, and then Stephen Merchant's character just takes it incredibly seriously, and the mood completely changes.
Yeah.
That was basically Starks and Copeland.
but yeah, there was. I'm not going to say the other word.
No.
We called him a vanilla, you know what,
Boy.
an old-fashioned wrestling phrase that hasn't aged well. So I'm not going to say it here. And yeah, this has sparked problems. And he called him a rip-off of The Rock, I should say, as well. But yeah, they're both not happy with how this went down, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio. He said it was awkward. I mean, it was very clear that something got started, and at that point it was not scripted. One of them got a little bit mad, the other got mad back. They're professionals, they finished it. You know, it was that vanilla M line. Wow, what a terrible line. You know what I mean? It was just brutal.
Yeah. I mean, like, not that this matters, but it was if we were scoring this like a fight, it was a 10-8 to Ricky Starks, wasn't it? Like, Edge Adam Copeland appeared rattled and felt like he was going for the low-hanging fruit, especially in like... Gotten to, the sort of dated terminology, and Starks. Not that this, again, particularly matters, but got the last word and did a bit of wordplay while he was doing it, so it kind of felt like he kind of won this one. I would imagine if all things are resolved and people have conversations backstage, that this can probably be turned into a cool little TV match.
Yes.
And if there's one thing I know about All Elite Wrestling, it's that when unscripted comments sort of go off the rails a bit on camera, there is conflict resolution immediately as the wrestlers walk back through the curtain. There is no example I can think of where wrestlers have taken these comments, have allowed them to fester in their brain, perhaps, I don't know, over an entire summer, and then result in an enormous blow-up that threatens the entire future of the organisation and results in people never being able to work again. If there was a situation like that, then maybe there would be cause for concern, but I see none in this case. I saw nothing during that situation where it looked as if a veteran wrestler with maybe some like beliefs on how you should do business in the ring might see a younger wrestler going into business for themselves and then thus, I don't know, create a situation of distrust and like a lack of loyalty or something like that. Again, we just have no precedent for this. If had one been set, I'd be worried.
Indeed.
I am not.
In a completely unrelated point, by the way, I've been percolating on the whole CM Punk thing over the weekend.
Why are you bringing him up?
Well, just I don't know why. I've just wanted to get it off my chest. But completely unrelated, like I said. But I'm a professional wrestling journalist, as I often say, and I've decided, with all that comes with that and the weight that my words have, it's a work. CM Punk's coming back to WWE.
All day.
God, it's a work, guys. And when have I ever been wrong about that?
If I'd have the receipts.
Indeed, exactly. And you have
being flippant, I hope they spoke about this and all as well, because there's a match to be made. There is definitely.
I agree. It works.
Like
the characters right now fit perfectly. Yeah.
Ricky Starks is a guy that, as a character, should be rattling legends, should be rattling icons. He's this young upstart that wants to take their place.
Now, you haven't got any receipts for me being wrong, and you won't need any receipts because this is going to be such a good show. You're not going to want a refund. WhatCulture Wrestling Podcast Live.
In the flesh.
The Dudley Boys on tour.
This is real.
November 21st, Mosaic Tap in the beautiful city of Newcastle upon Tyne. Tickets are rapidly selling out, surprisingly.
We're as surprised as you are.
WhatCulture.com/tickets. Not only can you get a ticket for that show with a bloody good quiz, a Q&A, maybe some special guest appearances. Simon Miller will not be there, okay? No. When I say special guest appearances,
I mean dumbass impressions.
Yeah. But it's all going to be all that good stuff. 5-star review as well. But there's also a deal where you can get yourself a very exclusive t-shirt.
It's on the website. The design kits whatculture.com/tickets. You can have a look at it before you buy.
Shout out to Phil Chambers and Adam Nicholas for working on that.
Legit good. Like, you can tell, like, the stylish people have a good understanding of how things look, have been involved in this, and not us. Like, no, it's good. It's good. Get a t-shirt, get a ticket, and come and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. The beers at the Mosaic Tap are unreal as well, if that's your thing.
I've got no tolerance right now. I'm going to get faced. Sorry.
And then what will he say?
WhatCulture.com/tickets for that. Let's move on, because often commentator misses show isn't really news, but when it's Michael Cole missing an episode of Monday Night Raw, especially off the back of that Seth Rollins thing last week where he was like, how many shows have you missed in 25 years? And he was like, 2. Well, it's 3 now.
Yeah.
He wasn't on Raw last night. He was replaced by Kevin Patrick on commentary.
Who?
Kevin Patrick! And people were like, oh, bloody hell, must be something big. But no, apparently, this has been planned for a while. It was a personal commitment. He requested the time off several weeks ago. This was reported by PW Insider. It wasn't illness, anything like that. They just say, we are told that Kevin Patrick had been scheduled for many weeks to handle his lead commentary for the show, and Cole is slated to return next week. Everyone deserves a break.
Yeah, 3 dates in... I would argue, as it came up in the promo last week, that you are promoting a culture that maybe shouldn't be lionised in 2023, but nonetheless, obviously, like, he's that guy who's that voice of WWE. It is weird when he's not there when you expect him to be. So I understand why, to your point, I understand why of all people there were reports about, like, is Michael Cole all right? Especially like post-COVID or anything, this sort of stuff.
And he's been working a lot, both shows and things like that.
Like, I think this is worthwhile to know and indeed note in the era of wrestlers suddenly disappearing for unexpected health absences that suspiciously last 2 weeks.
Yes.
Like, there's lots of that sort of stuff as well. So it's the only other notable thing here is probably that he booked it knowing that it was going to be the season premiere, and those are considered big in WWE canon, even though the show never starts or ends.
Yeah.
Just it goes on and on and on.
But I watched last night's show and you smell that? Outrageous cooking.
I think so, yeah.
We'll talk about it later on the Raw Review, What Culture Wrestling Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from, or What Culture Wrestling Podcast on YouTube to watch us talk about it as well.
I was going to say right here, but not. It's on our own.
Over there.
Subscribe to both.
Let's conclude. Michael Hamlet's on the news, so we've got a story about Kevin Nash, of course.
I have never even heard of this wrestler you speak of.
He has moved to quash rumours about a sensational return to WWE, particularly in in-ring capacity. Right, I know I swore earlier, Ben Roy, and I apologise for that, but just get the censor button ready.
You're a proper wrestling journalist, so you're delivering quotes.
Indeed.
You don't want somebody to be misquoted and the story go viral for the wrong reasons.
So Nash was on the his podcast, Click This, one of the best wrestling podcasts out there that isn't ours. I'm just going to read what he said, Hamlet. We were talking about the WWE's acquisition of Jade Cargill. It was pretty damn clear we were doing a little bit. Then Sean threw a couple of things back and forth and said, so you wouldn't go to AEW? I said, yeah, maybe for $5 or $6 million in a private airplane, but the reason I was going to go just came and was signed by the WWE. I didn't say that I was signed. I didn't say I got a new deal. I didn't say any of that You stupid wrestling news people. Why don't you follow something up? You obviously didn't listen to it because you would have known I was talking about Jade, not about me. I didn't say You can get me in a ring. You'd shoot me in the back of the head before I get in a ring. Paul Levesque, Triple H, was probably 46 when he did a Harley race over the top rope and tore his peg. I blew a glove and take a step. You think I'm getting in the ring at 64?
No notes. Well, one, actually.
You want him to come back and wrestle, don't you?
Well, I was still coughing on to the police is they think it's still funny to mock Kevin Nash for tearing his quad in that tag match. He does the better than you ever will.
Yeah.
So park that one, eh? Brilliant.
Love Kevin Nash, but amazed.
Stay well, Big Daddy Cool.
Amazed that he has to shut this sort of thing down.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's funny. Love him. Honestly, there he is.
So yeah, he's a big fan of Jade Cargill, as we all are.
The only thing that would have been realistic about him returning to WWE is leaving the podcast world because he must feel under threat with guys like us and this. Other than that, I can't see any rational reason why he would ever do that.
Hey, if he ever needs a leg up with his podcast, we're right here, Kev.
And if the oldest thing doesn't work out, GM, SmackDown.
Yeah. Right, let's move over to your Twitter questions. Don't forget you can talk about our news stories in the comment section below, but you can also discuss it with us on X at WhatCulture WWE. First question today comes from Rob Van Graham, who says, I remember reading that Kairi Sane was supposed to return to WWE around October. Is that still in play, or have been tragically misled? I can take this one if you want.
Yeah, go on.
She was wrapping up her Stardom dates at the end of September, I do believe, and then was on a, quote, indefinite hiatus. But I believe Boozer Wrestling and a few other outlets reported that she will be coming to WWE, but it will be in November, which makes a lot of sense. Right now, bring her in, they just sort of spin their wheels for Crown Jewel, and then a Survivor Series, it all kicks off. So who knows?
A great time to make a return to WWE this time of year. We've talked about this before. You return to Survivor Series, or you return around Survivor Series, you're immediately a hot favourite for the Rumble. If you're a hot favourite for a Rumble, WrestleMania is all to play for.
Sky's a champion right now. That'd be a tasty affair.
It's a good time to be Kairi Sane, I would say. The divisions on both Raw and SmackDown are not in fantastic health, but sometimes a talent injection is what you need. I think she'd be great on SmackDown right now.
Andrew Richardson, thank you for your question. Andrew writes, Morning Legends, with the Chamber in Australia, could we see a brief face turn for Grayson Bloody Waller to face Roman Reigns for the babyface reaction similar to Bed Bunny and Sami Zayn?
Is this a good idea. Like, Roman Reigns squashing your favourite has become one of like Triple H's favourite booking staples when he takes a pay-per-view to a new town. And
yeah,
we've heard about like apparently like Nick Khan schedules meetings with the TV execs. It's this incredible harmonious thing between the business end of WWE and the creative end. I could see this. Like, Grayson Waller barely gets, this is not a Drew McIntyre, oh, we nearly had him, or a Sami Zayn. Is he actually going to do it? This is
Zelina Vega.
Yeah, Zelina Vega against Rhea Ripley. He gets decimated. But like a Grayson Waller effect in which she like negs the tribal chief, and it's like, I mind Cody finishing the story. I'm going to write one of my own, and it's going to take place in Australia.
Yeah.
I could kind of see this. If not Roman Reigns, he becomes a sentimental favourite in the Elimination Chamber. A situational babyface night for Grayson Waller would be hilarious. I'm all like, the Iconics got it. Like, they got to play super emotional. I know, like, Buddy Murphy was a proper babyface before he won the belt, but the Iconics got to be faces for the night. I think they're going to do this.
I don't. As much as I love it, I don't think it's going to happen. I think they will give him a big spot. I just don't think it's going to be against Roman Reigns. I don't think he's working that show. I think he's working the wrong one, going, cool, see you at WrestleMania, guys. Especially you, Cody, because
it's a long travel.
They're laying out the old. I told you, them not putting the title on at WrestleMania 39 was the right thing to do, baby.
Let's not do that one.
But it's going to be Rhea Ripley who gets that reaction.
True, yeah, that's fair. Like,
so just book her against someone who's, I don't know what Rhea Ripley is right now. Technically, she's a heel.
Headlines. I think she headlines the whole card.
You know what? Yeah, maybe. You could do the, I'm not sure I mentioned this. Shayna Baszler had a pretty dominant performance in the Elimination Chamber. You could have Rhea Ripley doing that to everyone.
I'm going to need to rewatch that because you've never really brought that up.
You could have her doing that, just completely destroying everyone in the chamber and then going, who's left? And Jade Cargill going, hello.
Yeah. That could be good. Like, these are where all the pieces are going to fit around WrestleMania season. We still don't know. It's very exciting.
Bring the Iconics back, please, for God's sake. It's the last thing.
Hope they're enjoying motherhood. I think they both have kids around the same time.
I think he was getting low blows on a show the other day.
Right, it's one of them.
What's his name? Zack Ryder.
Oh, Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
Yeah. Low blow and Iconic.
Yeah, he's got a new gimmick. He's done. I've seen him do it quite a few times. He just gets in with wrestling and goes, and you're like, nothing's happening.
Okay. Right.
I think he was doing that to Payton. I do believe, but Payton. Sorry, yeah. Anyway, final question today comes from Eddie Zamhari. Eddie, thank you as always for your question. Eddie says, hey guys, if you guys do the What Culture podcast outside the studio, already am that, Eddie. WhatCulture.com/tickets. And you get the chance to invite one wrestler to be a special guest for your podcast, who would it be?
Jeff Jarrett next.
Oh, can you imagine?
I want to have a long chat with him about any period of his career he likes, and then I want the podcast to end with him smashing me in the head with the guitar. There is not a single spot.
Was it Grado on TalkSport they did that with?
Oh my God.
Those presenters didn't know what the flip was going on.
No. Maybe I hit it quite as hard as that. But maybe because the sound was incredible. I could watch that clip over and over again, not to neg out Grado or anything, but it just looked awesome. Yes, please. A long form chat with Jeff Jarrett. Conrad gets the privilege of it every week.
Oh.
Come and get the table with us, Jeff.
I'm still gutted I never went for that pint with Conrad. We just couldn't make it work at Starcast. But he's a lovely bloke. I'd quite like to have one half the NXT Tag Champs, Stacks, on the podcast.
Well, have I got some news for you, Wilbon? If you stop going to the toilet midway through the records, you'll actually get to meet him. Like, Stacks might indeed join us for the NXT preview today, wherever you get your podcasts, and on the review on YouTube tomorrow. But you've got to stop always, nipping out the office, mate. It's unprofessional. I mean, Stacks will know that as well.
Genuinely, it would be Cody, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'd scratch
for the numbers.
It'd be MJF. I ask him every day, and he says, I'm just busy, man. Because we're best friends, as I've said before.
In the DMs.
MJF, would be a load of fun to have on the pod.
The two money guys, I'd welcome them both.
I remember interviewing him going, this could be the end of me. This could be him saying something that sticks with me for my entire career.
Yeah, he's got that in him, hasn't he?
But because we're best friends, he would never do that to me.
Nothing to worry about.
But let us know which wrestlers you'd like to see on the podcast in the comments section below, and your thoughts on everything we've discussed as well. And hey, make sure you go to whatculture.com/tickets to get tickets for our live show, if the tickets haven't sold out already. And click on this video for other stuff. Bye!